then perhaps looking at taking these to Parliament, where we know issues to do with amendments perhaps to these levies would be tabled to see the changes that Monarch wants to see?
You see, I do agree with you that, yes, we can have these as legislative measures taken in the House. But as I've already told you, is that the way the current, and in Africa in general, even if you take it there, it will just be your say. They will still have their way, because Parliament also is a democratic house, and a vote has to be cast. A vote has to be cast, right? So, and once that vote has been cast, it's Parliament. I cannot exclude myself from it.
Yes.
I am part of that Parliament. You see, in 2022, went to the election, right? 50% plus something on top did elect William, right? William is the president. I cannot say he's not the president of Kenya.
Yes.
So democracy is whereby the majority dictate over the minority. 51% are dictators over the 49%. That's the reality. So yes, there are elements of, but you see, some of these things are not just coming up. Let's take an example of the oil prices. Go back to the 2024, and we tell you where these problems begin. The 8% that was just being reversed a month ago, when did it come into being?
2023, I think.
2023, right?
Yeah.
Some of us raised it and said, you're getting yourself in some deep mess. We are one of the few countries in the world who impose VAT on fuel. And remember, VAT was not there until Uhuru's time, when they brought in the first 8%. It never used to be there. And it's actually very, not very sensible to have VAT on fuel, because fuel is actually the driver of literally everything. So you cannot put VAT on it. Then, in between the finance bill, while all of us were focused that the finance bill had collapsed, something got sneaked in. I raised it.
In Parliament?
In Parliament.
You raised it?
When they brought the amendment to the finance bill itself, a clause was sneaked in there. So, you know, it's a big document. So somewhere in page 324, something was sneaked in there, imposing the 7 shilling RMLF increase. I remember raising it, and then I remember that time the chair of finance, Kimani Kuria, Molo MP, even calling me to the bar. There's a place we consult there, just in front of the speaker, or those members of the opposing side, right? And told me there's nothing like that in the amendment. I told him, did you read your own document? Because it's signed by you. And then when I showed, he had to run to the speaker. I'm not aware how this thing got sneaked in here. And to be very honest, he didn't know.
Was it recalled?
Remember, the whole thing fell.
Indeed.
But once it fell, they went through cabinet. So the 7 shilling was still introduced through the cabinet. Because here it was even illegal to be in there. Because once you're doing the amendment, right, at the committee stage, you are amending something that was there in the original bill. So this one was never there. So what are you amending? You can't amend something that was not there. So it was something just being sneaked in. But the whole bill fell. So they went, used the cabinet, the CS at that time. That's how it was introduced. And therefore, your fuel went up by 8% on VAT, and now another 7 shillings on RMLF, which they've now securitized.
Why was that illegal? From what you're saying, at that point, because here we are at a crossroads now that's affecting things today that was done years ago. 2-3 years ago. Now, what is the illegality of that 7% increase on the RMLF?
It's a 7 shillings.
7 shillings, I beg your pardon.
18, you know,
to 25, which is what we're dealing with
number
today.
Number one, these are things they even don't do public participation. Many people never even knew that it had happened.
Nobody knew.
Nobody knew. And some of us told them, these things will come to bite you one day. For your information, I have 19 years experience in the petroleum industry. Actually, that's the only industry I've worked. So I told them these things will bite you. So they used to use a very weak way of bringing it in. Daytime, on 14th, when they are announcing the new price for the next month. That's how these things have always been introduced. Like that time, the fuel price was to drop by 9 shilling. So that was the best time to sneak it in. So introduce the 7 shilling and announce a 2 shillings drop. Just look when the 7 shilling was introduced. That month, what happened? You were announced to that the fuel had dropped by 2 shillings. Yeah. But essentially, the fuel was to drop by 9 shillings. So you as Kenyans were happy that the fuel, you know, the way the media, you guys put it here, fuel goes down by 2 shillings, right? But actually, fuel was to go down by 9 shillings.
So
a permanent figure now had been introduced into the formula.
But now the question is that when you look at this 7 shillings that everybody pays every time you purchase fuel,
yes,